Okay. So let me open the diagram. Was this our diagram? No.
No, this one. The,
Yeah,
yeah, this one.
good. Okay. So this is what we have currently. All right, for our architecture, right?
Yeah.
I think now normally when we draw, we don't do this arrows. So that great. So per this architecture, we want to. But hold on for me.
Sure.
Yeah, sorry. All right. So per the architecture now, we have our subnets, we have our privates, we have our public subnets. We've created a routes, right, to direct traffic. So currently we know that resources within this VPC or within this subnet is only internal. So traffic from the public internet won't be able to communicate, or any server outside this network won't be able to communicate with any resource here. All right. And then now every resource that we put here now will be able to communicate with the internet. The public is also able to to communicate with the internet. But just as we would do in our rooms or in our houses, we wouldn't want just anybody to, I mean, just like to come in just like that, right?
Yeah.
We would want to have some bit of privacy or security. So we would want to filter out who is able to come into our houses. So there are two main uh, resources in AWS that we use to set security rules, right? We call them firewalls. In traditional computing, we call them firewalls. But in the cloud, they are just call them it's either security group and the network access control list. All right, there are two firewalls. Now, one works at the subnet level, and then one works at the resource or the instance level. Now, what it means is that when you are using one, it will work at the network or the subnet level. So this means that the traffic even is filtered out or is checked on the network level before it gets into the resource. Okay, so let me just use instance. All right. So say we create an EC2 instance. Okay. Now this EC2 instance is in a public subnet. And then we said, oh, by default, every traffic is able to reach it, right? Now, we will need to set up security rules or firewalls to protect the instance from just, I mean, not to allow just any traffic to I mean, reach the instance. Okay. And I said we have two. Either we are using a network access control list, which will work at the subnet level, or a security group, which will work at what? Uh, instance level. Okay. The instance level or the resource level. All right. Now, this is what it means. Normally, we would do SSH, or let's say we are using the EC2 instance for websites. Okay. So it means that
Okay.
we need to allow what website traffic or web traffic. And then the two main traffic that we allow is HTTP, that is for the unsecured version, and then HTTPS. That is for the secured version. All right. We have something we call SSL certificate. If you have SSL certificate installed on our server or on our website, then we would want to allow only HTTPS traffic. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this is how security groups work. We have something we call security group. Security group. Great. Now, security group works at the instance level, and they are stateful. Now, a stateful, when we say it's stateful, it means that it's able to what? Remember which traffic was allowed in and then which traffic was allowed out. So it doesn't check it the next time, or it doesn't check traffic every time. So let's
Okay.
say we allow HTTP, okay? And then maybe we are accessing it from our own, okay, no, let's use SSH, any of them, the two traffic. And then this is our personal computer. And then we are accessing this server via SSH or HTTP or HTTPS. Now, when the traffic comes in, all right, even if there is no outbound rule allowing this traffic to go out, it will still be able to what? Go out because security groups remembers, right? It's stateful. It remembers that, oh, this traffic was allowed in. So, okay, you are allowed to go out. All right.
Okay.
That is the statefulness of security groups. And then another thing is that even when you establish a connection, and then let's say you terminate or you remove the rule that allows that type of traffic to come into the server, the connection will still work till it is terminated. Okay. So if we do SSH, we'll try that on a hands-on quickly.
Okay.
When I finish explaining it, it means that if I do SSH and then my security group is allowing the traffic, whilst I'm connected to the instance, if I delete that security group rule, it will still the connect. I will still be able to communicate with the server till I disconnect. Then I will not be able to what? Connect again. That is how security group works.
Okay. So, why does it give it? Why does it make it open like that? I really don't get that part.
Well, that
Because let's
is
say
yeah.
you've
Go
made
ahead.
a rule and then you've changed the rule, or like you said, you've deleted it.
Mhm.
Why does it still allow such connections to still exist?
Yeah,
When
that's just
you
how that's just how the security group itself works. So when a
okay,
connection is established, all right, it's just like let me today and you'll be like there is a misunderstanding, right? And then you wouldn't want to talk. Then you just go like, okay, I will maybe you an echo. You get what I'm trying to say?
uh,
So immediately you come out. Okay, you are not allowed to come in again. So maybe nipa na be they didn't say okay. You go like okay, say man I'm mama okwan maybe I will be in a kwe. Next time you will
we
just say
have
go to my head and ababioma.
oh, okay.
So that is the nature of security group. That is how it works. It works that way. All right. And
Okay.
we have network access control list. That is NACL. So let me just so in the architecture drawing, you put it inside, okay, like this. And that one will just cover the resource. Okay, so you have something like this. So most of the drawings you see something like this. Uh, mhm. Yeah. Most of the architecture drawings, you are going to see something like that. All right, this way. So the security group is protecting what? The resource.
The instance.
All right, exactly.
I think I've seen it. I saw
Uh-huh.
it in one of their diagrams when you're
Yeah.
doing the plot.
And then we have the network access control list. All right. Uh, network. Okay, yeah. So that one has a logo. All right, this is a logo for network access controllers. Now, network access controllers now works at the subnet level. Okay, so for that, you might see something like this, or some people would also prefer to just draw broken lines, right, around the subnet itself. Okay, now the network access controllers, we say it is stateless. Now, stateless in the sense that every traffic that comes in or out will be checked every time. So unlike security group, for network access controllers, if traffic A comes here like this, okay, and then that same traffic is going out, network access controllers doesn't remember that this was the same traffic that was what allowed in. Yeah, it will check it again. So it's just like the typical security man that you bypass or maybe bypass and go into a residence, and then when, on your way back, it will ask you, "Who are you? What's your name? How did you get here?" You get it. When
I
you
get
go
it.
out, the next time you are coming in, it doesn't remember that, oh, this traffic was allowed out, so let me allow it in. No, it doesn't do that. It will still check again the type of traffic, and then if the traffic is either allowed or what is denied. So that's what we see. Network access control lists are stateless, or NACLs are stateless. Please, is that is
Yeah,
that
I get it. I
good?
get it.
Yeah. So the security group by default denies traffic by default, but NACL by default allows every traffic. All right. So you will have to now specifically set what the denying rules. So any traffic that you haven't allowed, you don't, if you have security groups and then you haven't allowed a type of traffic, then that traffic is by default denied. So in security groups, we don't set deny rules. We only set allow rules. Because
So by
yes,
default, everything is denied until you
exa-
allow.
exactly. Until you explicitly allow it. But for NACLs, everything is allowed, so you specifically deny them. All right. So that is, yeah.
If you call it I call it sodium chloride. It makes it easy for me. Um,
Okay.
um, the NACL
Right.
per its nature will check every traffic coming in or going out.
Out, exactly.
But by default, it allows all traffic.
All traffic, yes.
Wow.
Yes, that's how it works. So you so yes, it will allow everything. So we'll go there when you get which we create a NACL, you will see that there is allow, and then allow inbound, allow outbound by default every traffic. So you will now have to set your denying rules on top of it.
Okay. I was thinking that naturally, unless maybe because this IT, but the guy who actually checks you every time you are going and coming
Aha,
out,
should actually
that guy
deny
rather
you.
have by
Aha.
default deny
Yes,
until he's giving the go ahead to allow you. But it seems
yes. But
the other way
unfortunately,
around.
yes, it's the other way around.
But I get it.
That is tech. And sometimes how crazy it is.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just delete all these drawings and let's just go into the console so that we make sense out of the whole thing. Right. So console. So first let me just check the VPC that we created if they are still there. I play with my AWS a lot, so okay, so VPCs. This is what we did we did, right?
That one, yeah.
Yeah. So resource map, let me just check. Okay. So subnet one, subnet two. Okay. We did two public, two private. and we had a route table, a public one. Okay, to the internet gateway. I've deleted the NAT gateway, right, because of this.
You said that one that you pay for it.
Yeah,
So
the cost associated with it. So anytime I'm done, I delete it. So let me just create another one and then quickly um attach it to it. All right, and then we move on. So NAT gateways, create test v v a vpc ngw. Subnet should be in a public. So test. Where's the public one? Test VPC public subnet 1 public. Allocate. Okay, and then create. All right. So I'll go to the route tables. So test private. This thing. Let me go to the VPC again. Why don't I just delete it? No, okay, I have. Let me try and delete this one and see. Oh, okay. So let me just delete it. It's confusing me. All right. So everything about it should be gone now. And let me go back to the route table. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so this one. So I'll create the route, edit, and move this. Okay, so for the route table, all internet traffic should go to the NAT gateway and then this one. Save. Nice. All right, so we have now connected our route tables to the VPC. Nice. So the next thing, let's just go and create an EC2 instance. All right, and then I'll create two. I'll create one and put it in the public subnet, and then I'll create another one and put it in the private subnet. All right, so that we test the NACL and then the what's it called?
the security.
The security group, yeah. So let me go to EC2. Launch. Okay, so the first one is test public instance. And I should run on Ubuntu. Okay, I'll leave it as that. I have a key pair already. So I'll edit the network and then change it to the test VPC. Okay, yeah, so public subnet 1. Enable public IP, so it's going to have a public IP address. So this is a security group. So for the firewall, the security group is just like a firewall settings on your PC, right? If you go to stats and then you do firewall, okay, see this is it, all right? So I think for us, so as you can see here, there is what inbound, there is outbound rules. Okay. So
Okay.
so every operating system comes with what a firewall setting, a firewall on the PC. So it's just like this one. So you can't bypass it. You have to do it, right? So I'll create a new one and I'll do tests public, okay, instance SG. I'll just put the same thing as the description. Now, we are allowing SSH, all right? Here, let me remove the rule. I can go and add it later. So everything as it is, and then we'll launch. Okay, great. So I'll create another one. So I'll go to the EC2 instance, launch, and this one will be test private instance. This will run on Ubuntu, but I'll use the same key pair. All right, I don't want to create a new one, so I'll use the same key pair that I have. The network, I'll edit that, choose the test VPC, and then now I'm going to choose the private one. So test private subnet 1. Great. So security group with this SG. Put the same for that. And this one I'll allow it. Okay. I'll allow SSH. And then launch. So now you might ask, I spoke about security group, I spoke about NACL, but why is the NACL, why is NACL not here?
Okay.
Do you want to try as to why NACL?
Brother Pochokodana.
No problem. Yeah. So I wanted to know, would you want to try? I mean, as to why we didn't have the security group, the NACL option when we were creating the instance at the instance level.
Okay. I wouldn't mind. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Rosemary is happy.
Baby, no friend.
Oh,
Allowing me to concentrate on my job. I blow up not. Sinapocho, I will enter that.
okay, sure, that's fine. Right. So we didn't have the option to select a NACL because, as I said, the NACL work at what? The subnet level. So we only set NACL rules on the VPC console, right? You don't have the option to select NACLs or like configure NACLs or whatever it is when creating an instance because it doesn't work on the instance. It's a security group
So that means that
Hmm.
that means that the VPC that we created the last time.
Mm-hmm.
If you are still using that one now, then that is where we could have actually done the
Yes.
NACO
So as if you check the security, as you can see, network ACLs.
Mm-hmm.
So those ones we don't attach them to an instance, right?
Okay.
That one. This one works at the network level. So that is why when you are creating an instance, you will not see anything like NACL or anything of that sort. You don't see it there. You only see the security group option. Now, if you want to go ahead and then create an extra layer of security, then you have to come out set denying rules on your NACL, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I have both instances created. Now, let's test security group. Who turned on my Linux server? I have an instance running. That is why AWS sent me a notification that, oh, I see. Thank God. Thank God for the credit they have given me. I can see I'm a medical baby.
How many Ajala?
But yes, I think it should be not today. Was when. Wow. So that could be just about Thursday or Friday.
And they
So
charge
is it?
per hour, no? From Thursday,
Yeah,
but
that would be a lot. Let me check. Let me check the billing. That would be a lot. So I had the notification. I was surprised. I was like, but I don't have anything. So as you can see.
Oh, that is
So forecasted as 11.81. But I have AWS has given me some credit. So thankfully, or to a film. I end up with the anchor. Uh-huh.
I think because you normally use it.
No, they will send when you create an AWS account, they sometimes send you an email that you qualify for a $300 credit. So you apply and then they will give it to you.
Oh, okay.
So they will send an email. If they send that email, then you can apply. See, when it is like that, then they will just be deducting from it to expire in December. All right, so let's go back. Yeah, so let me filter by running instance. So filter by instance states is equal to running. Good. Yes. So let's test the first one. So as you can see here, for the security group, I don't have any rules, any inbound rules. Okay. So that means that if I try doing SSH to that instance, it's not going to work. Right. So let's try that. Uh, so let me go to the details. So I'll copy the public IP and let me go here. Let me send this one here. I think I can close all these. Yes. Good. And then let me make it a little bit bigger. Clear this. Good. And let me CD to downloads. That's where I have my key pair. Let me clear again. So I'll do SSH dash I Linux key pair. Okay, that's KP and Ubuntu at the IP address that I copied. Okay, press enter. So as you can see, it is not, it will not be able to connect. Usually it doesn't take that long, yeah, for me to connect to the instance. It's immediately I press enter. In a split second, it should ask me whether I want to add the key to the trusted keys, and then you see, so it says what? Connect to host on port 22. The connection has timed out. So let me go into the instance.
Is
Go
it
to,
because you've not added those?
yes, the security group rules.
Okay, okay.
So the security group is denying the traffic. So now let me go in there and then edit the inbound rule. Okay. Add rule. And what I will say is that I'm going to allow only SSH. Okay. I'm going to allow it from just my IP address. Okay. And then save. So this is one security measure. Okay. So let me explain. So now if I do allow SSH from anywhere, okay, it means that anybody at all can connect to my instance, provided they have my key pair and they know the username, right? So if I give you my key pair, you should be able to do SSH to the instance, connect to the instance, right? So it is not a good thing to actually do it that way. So you can allow it from a range of IP addresses or just your IP address. So normally, if you in the work environment, this is a typical security group rule that you are going to set, right? You are going to set it to custom, and then you have an IP address range, all right, to allow the traffic from. Okay, so you can maybe, if your company IP, private IP is like, let's say 10.0.0.0/24, then this is what you are going to put there. So it means that anybody connected to that network will be able to what? Connect to that instance.
Instance, okay.
Yeah. But here I'm connecting it over the internet and it's my laptop. And this one is sitting in the US, not Virginia. So if it is through the internet, then I want to use just my IP. Okay. How was the system able to detect this? My ISP gave me that IP. So if I just do a simple what's my IP on Google, I should see it's the same thing here. Right? Where is it? This one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
412102015/32. So the /32 means that all the octets are blocked. All right. So even if somebody has 41.210.20.15 .160 on Ujuma, .158 on Ujuma, it has to strictly be this. Okay.
Okay.
And then I
Okay.
save the rules. So now that I've saved the rule, if you go to outbound, you should see that you see outbound is there by default, all traffic.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you've come in, then you can just go out. All right. So you don't we are not so hard on outbound rules. Unless company that has like strict, security rules, then you can use a NACL to restrict certain traffic from going out or I mean coming in. Yeah. So now that we've added the inbound rule to allow SSH, let's try again the same command. It's not going to change. And then press enter. You see, one check, right? It's asking me, am I sure I want to continue connecting? I just have to type yes, and then I'm connected. Okay. So if I clear the screen, so now this is the EC2 instance. Okay, as you can see, Ubuntu at IP. This is a private IP. So when you connect now, it will show you the private IP of the instance. Let's go to the console and then go to the details. Instances and okay, it's just a few. So no, only a few. So let me filter by state, then running. Good. Okay, so if I select this, this is the same private IP that we saw. All right. So because we are connecting over the internet, you need to use the public IP. All right. But once you are in the internet EC2 instance, then you are able to see what the private IP. Okay, this one doesn't change. Great. So that's security group. And as I said, so now I should be able to do anything. Okay, so I do who am I? Okay. I mean, I should be able to do mkdir. I should be able to do anything that I'm doing on the instance. Okay. Now, I said something about it being stateful in the sense that even if I delete the rule, so let me go and delete the allow rule. Okay. So this one,
Okay.
let me edit that and then now delete this rule and save. I've revoked the rule, right? So there is no rule. So ideally, I mean, it makes every logical sense that the connection should be what? Terminated. But I will still be able to do whatever I do. Okay.
So in
Everything
that
else.
instance, so
Mm-hmm.
with that,
Mm-hmm.
assuming, let's say, like you said, if so far as somebody has your
Keeper.
key pair,
Mm-hmm.
the person has your key pair, the person can have access to can
Instance.
actually enter into the system, yes,
Yeah.
and like have access to the machine as
Yeah.
you have it right.
Exactly.
So somebody gets access to the key pair and then you delete it. I'm looking at the downside of it, unless there's something that I'm yet to find out.
Mm-hmm.
The person has a keeper. You go in there, you don't know the person has a keeper and delete it. But the security group, because of it being stateful, is allowing traffic.
Yes. So
It
the
means that
connection
the
is.
person
Mhm.
still has access to your machine, irrespective. So how would you know that somebody is in your system?
Okay. Good. So that one is a Linux thing, right? Every connection that is made to the instance is logged. Okay. So I think I do sudo cat etc log. I want to see syslog. Let me look at the log check. Or is it var? Let me see. ls. Good. So ls. Let me do cd var log. Okay. See, there are system logs. Everything. Do you see this? Syslog.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I do cat log, so as you can see, all right, everything, every connection that I've done, every activity that you do on the system, all right, is logged. Now, as you said, how do you know? I mean, you would want to just check your logs when something goes wrong. So maybe somebody the and the reason why somebody would want to even hack into your system, all right, or find a way into your system is they want to do something bad, all right. So yeah, so when that happens, until there is a security breach, you might not even know that you are doing something wrong or your system is not that strong, right? So companies even employ what we call penetration testers, all right, to test systems, how the system to exploit vulnerabilities of a system, and then through that exploitation, they get to implement what strict security features on their system. You get it? So
Okay.
it's not like a one time thing or a cast in stone thing, right? Uh-huh. So it's like you continue to improve it. But so yes, this is one of so it's one way or the other, it's a vulnerability about the security group. Even though I've deleted that rule, you see, I'm still able to do whatever I want to do. But this is what happens. Now, when I exit from the instance, okay, so let me just exit. So I am back to my machine. Yeah. And then if I
Okay.
try to do the connection again, then this time it will not be able to connect.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh. So if even though I've deleted the rule, when the connection is already established, it will allow you to do whatever you do. The connection will not terminate. Till you now terminate yourself or exit the connection, then you see I'm not able to connect. So if I want to now connect, if I want to be able to connect again, then I need to allow it. All right. So let me allow add
With
rule.
the exiting, does it include situation where your machine goes off?
Yes,
Does it
yes,
qualify as
yes,
exit?
yes. Any means, but even if let's say even if my internet when my internet goes off, the connection will exit.
Okay.
Machine goes off, my internet goes off, the connection will exit.
Okay. But so far as the person is there, it's on the SSH. I don't know how you call it. Whether
Yeah,
it's a
yes. He has done the
console,
connection.
but it's
Yes.
on the SSH interface,
Yeah,
and it's the internet connection. The person still has access to. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I get it.
So let me add the rule again and connect. Okay, so you see now I am in. Now let's go to network access controllers. Network access controllers, however, work differently, and it works on the network level. Okay, so for that one, you have to go to the VPC console and then go to network ACLs. So you can see that there is an ACL. Oh, so what I'll do is I'll just delete this one. Okay, I think I used it to teach something, so we have it here. So what I'll do is that I'll create a network ACL. All right, so I would make a test VPC and ACL. and then I'll select the test VPC again and
Still
create.
has a Y on that. Though.
Is it?
Not an NACL.
Ah, okay, that's fine. So just to differentiate from this,
Sure.
then I want to associate it with the subnets before, then I'll come and delete this one.
Okay.
So I can do this, and then you see subnet associations. So edit, and I'll associate it with the okay, let me associate it with the public. Okay, the public subnet, because that's where the instance is currently. Okay, good. So I can delete this one now. Okay, let me do it this way. Let me edit this one, the name for this, yeah, and then do test VPC private, yeah, NACL. So this one will be the public one. Good. Yeah. So now,
I noticed that words are normally what was the word I'm going to use? They are normally we use hyphens to separate them.
yeah.
Normal. I've noticed consistently.
Aha. Okay. So in tech, you don't name your files with spaces. Okay. So if
Okay.
you watch here, all my files, I use the dash. I either use dash or underscore. Yeah. To
Okay.
depict space. Because some of the commands, for example, if I'm doing like SSH, okay, the connection has been even has been terminated. So I'm not, you see, I'm not able to type. It has been disconnected. Now, if I'm
Okay.
doing this, yeah, and then I have, if the file is this, okay, Linux, the system would read it as two different things. You get it? It will read it
Okay.
as two different things. So if I want it to be for it to read as one thing, I will have to bring double quotation marks by
Okay.
it. But I because I don't want to do that, that's why I name the files with either the dash or the underscore. Yeah.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
that is it. So in tech, this is like a good practice in tech. It is not by force, but it just gives you ease of access. So as you can see, this one safe. So client loop, but you see the space has been what depicted with what
Understand.
underscore. Good. Okay. So for the NACL, even okay, I had okay rules here. So you see, I had all rules denied for okay, this was for the old one. Let me see this one. You see, I had all rules allowed. Okay. So let me go here. This is what I attached to the current one, right? So you go to inbound rules and I'll edit the inbound rule. Okay. So now let me try and do the SSH again. See, it will not work. Even though I have allowed what the security group is now allowing the SSH, but you see, NACL, it will not work. Now let me add a new rule. Okay. Now this is also another thing that I need to let you know. NACL, as I said, they check the traffic what by the rule, right, that you have set. And then they check it by the rule number. And it starts from what the smaller one first. So if you click on what the info, you see rules are evaluated starting with the lowest numbered rule. So as soon as a rule matches traffic, it's applied regardless of any higher numbered rule that might contradict. So this is what it means. If I set allow, so let me say allow SSH, okay, 100. And then I'll add another rule, number 200, the same SSH, okay, but this one is what? Deny. And then I save this, okay. It means that, so this is the rule numbers. This means that even though I have another denying rule here. All right, that denies SSH traffic because this one has a lower sort number. Yeah, a lower
Yeah.
sorting number. It will check this one first, and then immediately it allows it. That's all. It will not even bother to come back to the second rule to check. It will allow the traffic. So the lower
Okay,
numbers
so
take precedence over the higher numbers. Yeah, go ahead.
to check the lower number, and once the lower number, when it checks it, the lower number has is given the allow. What do
Mhm.
you say? The 200 and whatever follows, it will not even check. It will just allow them in.
It will just allow
Allow them to have connection.
exactly. So the same way, if the 100 was the deny, then it will deny. It will not even go ahead to what check the second one, which has a higher number.
Oh,
This
I see.
is that okay?
Yeah, I get it. So the smallest
Yes.
or the lower number.
Right. So let me check the outbound rules because I think I played a lot with this one. So you see the outbound rule also has deny. So let me just set add new rule. So normally for the outbound, we just allow every traffic by default. All right, all the traffic. Mhm. So for the outbound, you don't even have to bother yourself setting or all traffic. Sorry, allow. Good. Yeah. So
So
now,
outbound, any form of traffic living in the system, in
y-
any form, they are allowed to go.
yeah, you should go. I mean, yes, it's an
Coming
outbound.
in.
Yes, it's an outbound traffic, so you should just go. It's we are more concerned about the one that is coming in because nobody will attack you from the inside unless it's a bad employee.
You never know if any
Yeah, so it's always the inbound traffic that we protect them. Okay, so now let me do the SSH connection again, and this time I should be able to connect. Good. So as you can see, I am in. Okay, so let me just, so as you can see, I'm able to type commands, right? And so mkdir new, right? Oh. So I mean, I'm just typing some random commands. Okay, I'm able to do that. So touch. These are Linux commands.
I was going to ask you. Like, serious, I was just about asking you, where do all this random stuff come from?
No, these are just Linux. So and yeah, you don't have to. Good. So I'm just doing some random commands, right? So as you can see, it's working. Now, this is how NACL works. NACL is checking every traffic at every point in time. So let me just come here and just delete the allow rule, okay? Or let me just change the allow to, let's say, 250, okay? So it means that now the deny takes what? Precedence over what? The allow, right? Because the deny now becomes for the smaller number, isn't it? Yes. 200 becomes the lowest than
That's
the two.
what
Yeah, exactly. So if I save changes and I go back to my console, as you can see, I'm typing. I don't know if you can hear the noise from my keyboard, but you see, nothing is working. Okay.
because
So
the lower number rules is denied. So
e-
practically, okay.
exactly. And it's unlike security group. For security group, even if I had like denied it, it would have still allowed me to have my connection till I exit. But for NACL,
Okay.
it's not like that. Immediately the rule is changed or is removed, the allow rule is removed. It will stop that connection.
So, how is this? Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So, security groups
Hmm.
more like is resource or instance
Yeah,
pertinence. Like it's just attached to that particular one.
yeah,
While NACO is to the VPC.
exactly.
So when you set the two, when you
Hmm.
set the two, you
Hmm.
set the two to a particular system, you can do the
Hmm.
two, right?
Yes.
So it first has to go through the NACL
Yeah.
first before the
It
security
comes
group.
the security group. Yeah.
Okay, so like I'm getting first to see if you have permission to enter the system, the network. Once you
Yeah.
get into the network, the particular resource you want to use, then the security groups to also apply the rules for accessing those resources.
Correct. So it's just like you getting into a compound, right?
Okay.
So you go to the compound. Probably there's a security man at the compound. Now the security man allows you enter the compound, but you can only go to whoever you are coming to visit. You can't just enter somebody's room. You understand? So the knuckle is just like the main security man at the gate. And then when you get in, you will probably be your own security at your own room. Okay. So if the person comes in and, oh, I don't know, you go back, then the person will now go back.
Okay.
So that is
Okay.
how the knuckle and then the security group work. Right. So, right.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. So now the next thing is private instances. Okay. So let me go back to the private instance. Now that security group knuckle is clear. The next is yeah, this one. So let's go to the private instance. As you can see, this one doesn't even have a public IP address, right? So we can't even connect to it. Let me just copy the private IP and then so SSH is the same keeper that I used. So I'll just change the IP address. Okay. Now, regardless of the rule, because when we were creating it for the first time, remember I allowed SSH on that one, right? If
Yeah.
if I go to the security, you can see SSH is what is allowed. Okay. Now let's go to the NACL for that one. So there's a private one. Inbound rules, you see, all traffic is allowed. Outbound, all traffic is also allowed. So ideally, we should have the connection. Okay. But instances in the private subnet, one doesn't even have a route to the public internet, right? Traffic is
Yeah.
only allowed to exit, but not allowed to what? Get in because of the NAT gateway security in the first place. But
Okay.
yeah, so for that one, there is no way we can even connect to the private instance as a stance. For that one, there is no way we can do that. But let's say we have another network. Okay. We have another network. So here I'm just going to use the default VPC that we have here. Okay. We have another network which we want to maybe connect together. So this it's the concept of what VPC peering. So I'll just use this one. So let's say these are two separate VPCs. Yeah, these are two separate VPCs. We have an instance here.
Okay.
We have an instance here that we want to actually connect to a private instance. We know that ideally it doesn't work. It will not work, even though it's in the same AWS cloud. So the whole outside network thing, it doesn't mean that even if they are in the same AWS. So for example, these two VPCs can communicate with each other. It won't work. You understand? So
Okay.
there is a feature in AWS called VPC peering. Okay. So peering. So this is a symbol for VPC peering. Now, what VPC peering will do is that it will establish a connection between this VPC and let me put it here. Okay. It will establish a connection between this VPC and this VPC like this. Now, when it connects these two VPCs, they will behave as if they are in the same network. All right. They will behave as if they are in the same network. So private resources are able to communicate with each other. So this time, immediately you create the VPC peering, then these two become what? The same network. They connect to, even though this one has its different IP, this one also has a different IP range, but they are able to communicate as if it is what? One network. All right. That is what VPC peering does. So now my resource here, right, can communicate with the resource here. Even if I have a resource in the public subnet here, it will be able to communicate with a resource in the public subnet here. Please, is that okay?
Yeah, I get it.
Right.
I get it.
So that is it.
Initially,
Mm-hmm.
initially, not to cut you. Initially, see, in the what is it called?
CloudQuest.
Yes, thank you. The cloud quest.
Mm-hmm.
The scenario, what you said right now made me understand something. You
Mm-hmm.
said so we have two different VPCs,
Right.
and then you're trying to connect them. But the
Mm-hmm.
scenario they gave, though I go how to do that, but I didn't really get it from the point where there are two different ones. Because the
Mm-hmm.
scenario they gave, like they were like instances that I'm trying to make them communicate with each other. But I didn't get to see like, oh, this. Let me be specific. We had the finance,
Mm-hmm.
we had the marketing, and then we
Yeah.
had the is it the IT department or
IT.
something?
Yeah. Normally, that's the example they use. Yeah.
Like that. And then we
Mm-hmm.
are supposed to, the finance is more like the central thing. So you're supposed
Mm-hmm.
to connect the marketing to the finance and then
Mm-hmm.
the IT also to the finance so that they
Mm-hmm.
can share whatever they want to share.
Mm-hmm.
But they look like, maybe I didn't understand, but they look like they are just instances that are making them communicate with each other, but not
Mm.
like different network systems that they are
Oh.
connected.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know if you get what I'm trying to
Yeah, I
say.
get it. I get it. I get it. I
But
get it.
now you are making me see that okay, it can actually be that I have I'm connecting something in a public network to something in a private network.
Yes, in another network, actually. All
In
right.
another network, in another
Uh-huh.
network.
Yeah. So yes, so honestly, you can also have a resource here. So as it stands now, right? You resources even within here, right?
Okay.
Per the security group rules, I prevent if I have a public subnet here, I can even still prevent it from not communicating here. But that one is just a security group feature thing. Okay. But that one, if I want to enable this connection or this communication here, all I need to do is to come to the security group of the I have to come to the security group. Oh, let me remove this diagram. Okay, I have to come to the security group of the private instance. Okay, so here, this one, I'll go to security, come here, right? And then for the inbound rule, I'll edit the inbound rule and I'll add a rule. Okay, let's say I just want to do SSH from the public subnet. So I'll add SSH coming from the security group. All right. So this one, private, no. This one, So I'll allow SSH that is coming from what? The security group of what? The test private instance. Sorry, the test public instance. This one.
Yeah. Okay.
Now,
Okay.
if I do this, then the public instance should be able to what? Connect to
With a private instance.
the private instance. Even though they are in the same network, but if my security group rule doesn't allow, it will still not be able to communicate. All right.
Okay.
So yes. So this one is a different scenario.
Available. 1 minute.
All right, sure, sure, sure.
Senior, sorry about your meeting.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So let me come to the NACL and then change the NACL rules. So inbound, okay, I'm allowing all. Outbound, allowing all. So let me go here. So now let me just edit this and make it. So even there, I didn't sort it out, but immediately we did it. About 200 now, sorry.
200 numbers.
So if I do the 100 and then
We saw
save,
them 200 in
so I own the was answer what sorts in the
okay.
good. Nice. So now, yeah. So for the scenario, yes, the resource can both of them can be in the same network, but we can still set security rules, not what allow them communicate. All right.
Okay.
But now let's change things around, right? Let's change things a little. So what we are doing is this case we have the resources in two different networks, right? Two separate networks. So I will turn on my instance. I can need a mudumumpo. So let me go back to the instances. Yeah, this one. Let me just turn it on. Okay, this one is on the meta use. So I think I can terminate these two. Right. Hey. uh, but terminate to be Stasi. Okay. I think I can use this one. I can use this one, no problem. Yeah. So let me just turn this one on. This one, default VPC. Yeah. I can use this one. It's the same thing. They are all in. This one is also in the defaults. Yeah, but I put it in a public, private subnet. All right. Okay, I'm create BCC. Yeah. So default VPC instance. Right. So this one will also have Ubuntu and the same keeper. I'm going to use the same keeper. Yes. So this one should be in the default VPC and then a public subnet. All right. So default VPC and then the subnets, any of them because they are all, yeah, are they? Yes, they are all public because yes, there is enable IP address by default. Okay, sure. So let me just, no, I'll select an existing one. I should have this, yeah. Okay, so there's a security group there. We'll go and check it. Let me compare the rules. So it's allowing SSH HTTP from anywhere. Good. So let me just select that and then launch the instance. So this is the NACL for that one. So default VPC NACL. All right. Let me go to, let me see, peering. There's a VPC. I need to delete that one. Then we do another one, site to site. So I've deleted that so that we do everything again. All right. Hmm. Okay, merchant A. Okay, that's fine. I don't even have to wait for this one. I already have a public instance, right? I have this one. So let me check the. Okay, Maminya, let me do something quickly here. So subnets, let me filter by VPC. The default one is this one. Good. Okay, I created one private subnet for this. Okay, good. So let me go to the route tables now. Good. And edit this one. This route. Edit. I want to remove just this one, right? No route with destination in route table. A. The default VPC route table. Yeah, this one. So why is it not working? Okay, subnet associations. Yeah, I get it now. So edit this and associate it with all of these ones. Accept this, save. Nice one. Let's see. Got the route. Oh, I guess the reason now. No, go to the internet gateway. Save this. Uh-huh. Let me edit this one now. Oh, it's gonna have not. Okay. Is it? Sorry, I'm sure that it might. I'm just trying to. I had these ones there already, right?
Oh, okay.
The default VPC is there already. So I was just putting the route tables to their default as it should be, so that I would take everything from scratch. So that is just what I was doing.
Okay.
I don't want it to. But you know, okay. So right. So let me just So everything is at their default now. Okay. Into this instance that let me connect to the instance that I'm connected to. Oh, sorry. Not this one. This one. Okay, it's connected now. Sure. My mic was muted. All this while I thought you were hearing me. So let me let this. Oh, yeah. Kindly hold on.
Hello.
Yeah, my is sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, good. So to the instant that I'm connected to, right? Now, let's now go. I want to connect to this private instance. Okay, this is in a private subnet. As you can see, the subnet is the private subnet. Okay, and
Okay.
for the let me check the security group rule there currently. Okay, so I'll go to the security group. And for the inbound, as you can see, it's allowing what SSH from everywhere. So it means that I should be able to connect to that instance. All right. Everywhere. That's ideally. That's what it means. Okay. So let me go back. And I just want to confirm the key pair that I use for this one. Yeah, it's the same key pair. Okay. So all I need to do is to put the same key pair on this instance. So I will just do VI Linux. This is also a Linux thing. Okay, I just want to copy the content of the key pair onto this instance. If not, I will not be able to use it. So downloads Linux. This one. Okay, and then paste that here. Good. And then save now. All right. So all I need to do is should do chmod 400. This one, Rosemont knows. Is it Rosemont or Rosemary? Wife in me. She knows all of this. So
I see.
yeah, so these are Linux commands. But I said I will share some playlists with you. The code cloud thing, unfortunately they didn't
Yes.
do it. Yeah, they didn't allow us to do it. Or was it we should subscribe to the business package before. Business was no then. It's 240 USD every month.
A
So
man.
yes.
Oh,
So we stopped, right? But I'll share a YouTube playlist with you. It's almost the same. It's the same thing, yeah. They start from the basic commands to stuff. Okay. Yeah.
okay.
So I will do SSH dash I, right? And then the key pair, and it's also an Ubuntu system. So at then now this one, what is it called? All right, the private IP because it doesn't have a public IP. So that's Okay, and I press enter, it will not be able to what connect, or I won't be able to connect. Let me even go to the NACL and then make sure that the NACL also is set correctly. So for the default VPC, okay, the default VPC, yeah, is allowing everything, inbound all, outbound all. Good. So
Tick, tick.
mhm. So as you can see, it's still Waka. All right. I'm not able to connect. And I will not be able to connect because these are two, it's even a different network altogether. All right.
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
resource is in what? Is in a private IP address. But
Okay.
thanks to VPC peering, now we can connect these two networks. Let me go to VPC. Okay. So what I'm doing is that I'm coming to what connect these two what VPCs together to act as if they are in what the same network. Yeah, that is just what I'm trying to do. So as you can see, this one the IP address range is different, and this one to the IP address range is what is different. Okay, so to do that, you go to what you call peering connection. This one. So it doesn't even have to be in your account. Let's say I have my account, you also have your account, and then you have created your VPC. I also have my VPC. We can still do that same peering connection, and then we can share the resources all together.
Different account, different
Yes,
AWS account.
different AWS accounts.
Okay.
Yeah. So you go to peering connections. So this is this is also an advantage you have over over your wife because I will not teach them. It's not part of their curriculum. Anyway,
And
uh, so at least every obiara benya dia ɔde bluff ne yɔnko.
asama nka mmɛka mas mɛyɛ bɛmbɛpa no kyerɛ mu but
All right. So what you do is you just go to create a peering connection. Okay, so let's just do default test. I like to name my things this way so that I'm able to know what they were meant for. So default to test, all right, PC, so peering connection. Now, the local VPC to peer with, so that's the requester. Okay, so the requester is my test VPC. It can be the other way around, all right, but this one is in my account, so I can choose to select any. So if I'm the one who want to share your network resources, then I will create the request from my end.
you request.
And if it is you to you, create the request from your end. So I choose the requester is the test VPC, and then the other VPC. So as you can see, I can either select what my account or another person's account. So if it is another person's account, then I will put the person's account ID here, and then the VPC ID here. Okay, it
So
works. Mhm.
assume I want to see how broad this skill can go.
Sure.
Assuming let's say in the government sector,
Mm-hmm.
controller has its own thing it does.
Mm-hmm.
It has its own service,
Mm-hmm.
AWS account with its
Mm-hmm.
network and all that. And it
Mm-hmm.
wants to connect to a different department, a different ministry.
Mm-hmm.
They can do this, and maybe they want to connect because they want to share a particular instance or document or something.
Yeah.
The two of them, then they can go through this particular
Exactly.
hearing thing
So let's
and
say
share.
registrars general, right?
Uh-huh.
Registrars general and the birth and death registry. Okay.
Yes,
You,
yes,
you know under the registrars general there are a lot of registries there. Now
yes.
they necessarily don't have to create different database systems. Okay. Maybe they have one server that has their database. So all of them want to connect to the same database, but they don't want the traffic to what? Transcend over the internet. So they can just create this peering connection between the two networks and then they can share the resource without passing through the internet. So this thing, when you do the peering connection, it doesn't go through the internet.
It's more like an internal thing.
Exactly. So it works. So as I said, so the two networks
That's a local.
kind of becomes like one network, or they work as if they are the same network. See, I'm
Do we?
just 2 minutes.
Sure.
All
Sure,
right.
sure.
Let me
Oh,
start
no
the
problem.
record. Okay. Yeah. So the two networks will just act as like what? The same network. All right. So usually
Kojo
when
Mite, oh, yeah, baby life, man, Mite.
yeah, sure. So can use shapes. So as you said, maybe Bet and Det will have theirs here. What other registry do we have? And then yes, the registry of businesses would be here. All right. The same with GRA will have their own GRA will have their own network. Okay. Now these are the separate networks. So maybe a GRA or one server waha for the registration portal. Uh RGD also wanted the waha. Bet and Det also wanted the waha. But maybe Registrars General is the main body, so they have the database here. All right. Now, to save costs, they don't want to create a database for each of the departments. All right. But they want this service. So let me go here. Okay. Oh no. Redo. Yeah. So they want all these servers to connect to the same what database. Because after all, it's the same data they are taking, right? GRA needs
Um,
your business registration information. So instead of having their separate database, you can just what? Share the database that is here. This one can also share the database that is here. But that is not possible unless through the internet. However, GRA also don't want to expose their internet, their database over the what? The public internet. So the connection still has to be internal. So that is the case. If that is the case, then let's establish what? A peering connection between all these networks. Okay. So this one will have a peering connection to this, like this. Ata. So it means that
Master.
it's down there. Communication becomes internal, and then it doesn't go through what? The public internet.
And you can do, is there a limit to it? Is there a cap on it?
No, you can actually connect as many VPCs as you want.
So
But
this actually brings in mind, I think when we first met, you
Mhm.
made a statement. I've forgotten what led to that conversation about this. So we're talking about this passport where you go there, for passport Sarah, they still have to go through the process all over again.
Eh,
Meanwhile, your details are with NIA and all those people. Myself, those people
exactly.
are still there. I remember we had that conversation.
Aha.
So all that can be solved by this.
Exactly. I mean, there are advanced technologies. They don't even have to. If they say, okay, we don't want to expose the entire database to them. All right, to let's say MFA, that is the Foreign Affairs. All right, NIA
Yeah.
can just we have something called APIs. Okay, so NIA can just develop APIs that just do the calls to the databases without necessarily exposing it. Even though we are the same, we are connected, but you don't have like permanent connection. Okay, so anytime, let's say you want to take, let's say Makion comes to renew his passport, the data is with NIA. Okay, all he needs to do is do an API call just to retrieve only Makion's information from the database, and then the connection will close.
So
That's
with
it.
my Ghana card number, no, you can just get all the information and that's that.
Correct, and that is it. With just your Ghana card number, every information, your date of birth, your parents, everything, all the information was taken from NIA. Right. So just with the Ghana card number, that information can be retrieved, and then the connection will close immediately. The information is retrieved. That is how
That's
it. Yes, it's that simple. To be honest.
wow. Do we have? I'll let you go back to this, but just so
Sure.
I
You.
normally ask you that. I always want to see how this thing will be applicable in everywhere. It gives me a good perspective of what I'm
mm,
doing,
yeah.
relevance of what I'm learning. So, is there any? Do we have this cloud thing in any government system?
So
Do we got a
so for the government institutions, right? Because of compliance issues, right? So currently they do. I know these people do. There is this they are more like a government private body, all right? So they have their database in the cloud. You get it? But for compliance issues, for the entire government cannot actually host its database in the cloud. But in America, it doesn't take cloud technology to do this. Oh,
Oh,
the
really?
yes, traditional thing also happens. So we have something we call, so for example, NIA, or let's say one head office, let's say that's where their data center is. Okay, so let me even
Right.
use this now. So let's say NIA data center waha. All right, let's say or Abia Accra Central. And RGD one the word tema. Okay. We have something called radio. So they can do they can set up an antenna. Okay. Even so one day, then they will just do the connection. As I say. So it's the traditional way, and it has been translated into what? The cloud technology. So
Okay,
if
okay.
yes, if it hadn't existed, it wouldn't have been, it would have like taken a while. But it's the same thing that happens in the traditional way, and I was a cloud. But you see, with the traditional, we have to buy physical devices, but the cloud is just about clicking here, clicking there, clicking here, clicking there. So I was talking about compliance. Even though
Yeah,
we are in Ghana, it's a government institution, right?
yeah.
So we can't have our database sitting somewhere in America when we are in Ghana. That. So
Yeah, fair
so
enough.
for the yes, for government, no. But MTN, I know they use cloud infrastructure.
But when the UK, I'm sure US also, but I'm more familiar with the UK system. The UK government has that where virtually everything about related to UK is on the UK.gov there. Possibly
Uh-huh.
they might have their own physical infrastructure that they all their servers are on it and stuff. But I'm sure a part of it is also equally
No,
on.
yes. So for UK, there is a cloud data center there. AWS have their data centers around the Europe and all that, right? So yes, they have, even US have a separate cloud. The US government have a separate cloud. They call it US Gov Cloud. Let me show you here. It's here.
Okay.
Unless I've not enabled it. So let me go to manage regions. These people also has their own. What's it called? Let me delete these ones now. China also has their own. If yeah, let me just do this. So yes, now their AWS is building like data centers around. So hopefully, they say they are bringing a region to Africa. So Cote d'Ivoire will be one region, Ghana will be one region, and I think Nigeria will also be one region. Then if that happens,
Ghana
then
board.
yes, Ghana will be one region. If that happens, I mean AWS is still expanding. So they are now going into they are now even setting up in Milan, that is Italy, and then Israel. As you can see, there's Tel Aviv here. They haven't been, I mean, launched yet. But there is US Gov Cloud. I should see this thing.
But the South Africa one is active, right?
Yes, South Africa is active.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I see that that's the only region for Africa. So if I want to check there.
hmm Yeah. So as you can see, there is what? AWS Gov Cloud. That is for US. So for that one, you will have to sign up for it. So if you are not a government agency, you will not be able to actually use it. Or you are not yes, you are not a government agency, you will not be able to use the Gov Cloud. So you see there is strict agreements and then all that, as you can see. So has been denied because it did not meet one or more of the prerequisites. So I have to be even in the US before
To
I
even
can
be,
sign up for
to
it.
be, okay.
Uh,
But I hope asking all these questions and relating this doesn't really like.
no, it's I mean, as whatever will make you understand what you are learning is and it's not as if you're it's an alien stuff, right? These are the things that the more you advance into it, you are going to be exposed to. So
Okay.
it makes yes every sense. Some of the things, if you don't ask, I might not even mention. It's the same with your wife's class. Sometimes a question will now, you know, trigger something and then I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Just that normally when I'm teaching, I wouldn't also want to go deep because I feel like okay, it might confuse. Yeah, I mean,
You might even
uh-huh,
end up listening so much from the.
exactly. So, but once the question comes out, why not? I will explain. So, I mean, feel free to ask any question.
It's with the AWS is I heard you say that in the other class. I
Mm-hmm.
just it's case sensitive. I think Linux. You're doing something
Yeah,
with Linux.
yeah, Linux. Yeah.
I don't know what this is it say because in the quest when you were linking hey when you were linking them they made us use the less than greater than like the finance less than greater than
Yeah,
connected to.
yeah. They made us yes, you did
Like
this.
does not have any like corresponding
You
like this doesn't have
no,
any.
no. So what they were doing was just like the symbol. So it's just saying that, okay, so I am doing a connection. Anything for you to make it like easily identifiable, right? So the greater okay default to the test. All right. So anyhow you want to name it, you can decide to even do default to tests peering connection. It's okay. However you name it is okay. Yeah. So it's just the naming that they preferred to use.
Okay, sure, sure.
But
No more questions. I mean, Jana.
oh, no. Go ahead. You can, I mean,
Oh, I
question.
can for so far I'm good.
Yeah, good. So let's name it this way. Let's leave it that way. So the requester once again is test, and then it's in my account. So the acceptor is going to be what the other VPs. That is the default. Let me check if this thing is still active. Oh, it has been disconnected. Yeah, the private one that I was connecting. Okay, sure. Yeah, so good. So okay, so let me do ls. All right, so we are still here. Good. I just saw check account one. It has a time to leave, right? A timeout. So it's
Okay.
what's them mumu now was a timeout to do no. You understand?
Okay, understood. Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. So the acceptor will be this one, and then I'll just click on create peering connection. Now, okay, you've gone through the cloud quest, so you know this one. Now, your connection area, or when the connection is established, it doesn't end there. Okay, the acceptor will have to accept the connection before the peering connection will be established. Okay, so
Okay.
you have to now what? So if it was in your account, you come to the same peering connections. So normally you have something like this. Atasa. You have a menu or an interface like this, which has the existing connection. So you just have to select it like this, go to actions, and then you accept the request. Now, when you
Oh,
Mhm. You want to say something?
senior.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ocho, Mr. Obili Frame, I hardly get this person. Mambe 3 minutes, I mean, because I.
No problem, no
Ocho.
problem, no problem, no problem. All right. So now the connection has been accepted, right? Now the next thing to do is to actually do that's the last thing to do actually is to now set your routes. All right. So in networking, routing is very important. Yeah. So what you do is that now, okay, we have established the connection between the two networks. But where should we send the connection to? So it's the peering connection that is going to handle the communication, right? So as you can see, immediately you accept it, there's a prompt for you to modify your route tables. When you click on this one, it will just take you to here. It's like you coming to click here. All right, it's the same thing. So if I click on modify route tables now, then it will by default select the default VPC or one of the VPC's route tables. Okay. So I'll just go to the routes here and then edit the route. Now, what route am I adding? This is the default VPC. My VPC or our VPC that we created was this one, right? This one. So I'll go and get the CIDR of this VPC as well. Good. So this is the side of the VPC. So what I would do is I will say that, listen, all connections. So let me copy this one. And then on the route table, for the other VPC, I'll say all traffic going to the other network, you see, to the 10.0, that's for the other VPC. Send that connection to the peering connection. Okay, and what peering connection is that? The one that we just established, the default to the test peering connection. I'll save this. Yeah, and then I'll go back to the route table. So if I have multiple route tables, so for this VPC, I have two route tables, right? The one for the public, the one for the private. So it is just fair that I do that one as well. But it wouldn't need, I mean, if I don't want any resource in the public subnet to communicate with the other network, then I can leave it. But obviously, I may need it, so I'll just go there, edit this one again. Oh, sorry, route. Edit the route, and I'll add another route that says that the same thing going to the other VPC should be sent to what? A peering connection, and then that peering connection is the one that we just created. Okay, so we go back to the route tables, and then we do the same for the other network or the other VPC. So the private one, routes, edit. So this time it should be traffic going to what? This one. So edit the route, add routes. So traffic going to this VPC. This, and now that. Save. I'll go back, and I'll do the same for the public route. Edit, add this peering connection, and that. Save changes. Now, once that is done, we have basically what? Connected the two connections. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is to now do our security group configurations, because yes, we have allowed the communication. So if I just have to check. So let me go to security groups from, no, let me just move. So I'm currently connected to this one. Okay. So this, and I'll go to the security group. Where is it? Security. So the inbound rules. Now with the inbound, I was only allowing what? SSH from just my IP. So I can add another rule that will allow another SSH, and this time from the security group of I think it should be this one. Let me just do a quick check. EC2 running instances. So I'm allowing SSH from the security group of this instance. Okay, so that's the default, sorry, security group. Okay, that's default VPC SG. Good. So let me do default. Sorry. P. Where is it? There's a private. Sorry. SG. This is the default one. I don't know which one is this one. Okay, let me leave this one. I don't think I even need this. Yeah. No, I need it. So I'll add a rule. All right. So SSH, and yeah, it should be the IP address for the VPC. Okay. No, that is pretty good. Yes. So we are allowing what traffic from that VPC, the other VPC. I'll save the rule, and I'll go back, and on this instance, I will go to the security settings. Okay, for the SSH. So this time I'll also allow it inbound SSH from the other VPC.
Yeah, no.
So this one, copy this and paste that. Good. And save. Nice one there. So now, okay, so this one is still active. So let me just do the connection again. SSH-I, where is it? Okay, let me just do it. SSH-I, okay, and then the Linux keeper, and it's Ubuntu at, so instance. So I want to connect to this one. So I'll use the private IP of this and that, and I should be able to connect. If I'm not able to, then we'll go and check the NACL rules. Okay. So obviously, because it doesn't take this long, so obviously it's not able to. So this one, right? So security SSH. Okay, so let me go to the NACL. Unless Mary Free BB. Okay, so this one inbound, I'm allowing all. Let me edit and see if I'm not denying anything anyway. Okay. And then outbound, all is also going. So it should work. Let me go to the routes tables configuration. So I have this one. Ah, forgive me. No, it's there. Route table, routes. Yeah. So this is there. This is also there. This is also there. And this is also there. Let me check the NACL of this one. Inbound. Outbound. Inbound. Outbound. All. Inbound. Okay, so let me edit this one and remove it. Probably allow all traffic. Save. Outbound. Yeah. Let me do the connection again.
Smooth. Something small can get you.
Yeah, so it was because we're denying some traffic. So what happens is this: when you have two connections, right, two networks, they all have their NACL rules, right? The network access control list rules. So it means that the two rules are going to come together, right? And then with the security feature in AWS, if we have two different rules coming together and there is a deny in one of them, the deny take precedence. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Let me take it again.
Well, I
So,
get it. So,
uh-huh.
in the instance where, let's say you are connecting two different accounts,
Mm-hmm.
like the scenario that we're making mention of the register and all of that, and then
Mm-hmm.
the rule, the NACL rule there is different from what I have. Maybe they have a deny rule, and
Mm-hmm.
then I don't have that. When I'm trying to connect, the deny rule takes precedence over the
The
allow rule.
allow, exactly.
So I will not be able to, unless the other person also equally allows it.
Allows it, yeah. So it should be like both sides.
So that means that right from the point of where you accept the request,
Mm-hmm.
if you are connecting two different accounts, then the other person is the one doing that part. You should accept it, and then the security group part to where you add on, you edit
Mm-hmm.
the security group. No, the pairing part.
Mm-hmm.
You see,
Mm-hmm.
you do one part. You pair with the other person, then the other person also has to pair with you in that regard. So like
Uh,
you have to
uh,
do your part. That's what you do our part. We have the
yes.
same rules
Mm-hmm.
before they that connection.
Yeah. So it's because both of them are in my account. Internet why be no. But if you are on your side, you have to set your route tables to send the connection to the peering connection. I also do it at my end. I have to set my security group to accept traffic from your network. You also have to set your security group to accept traffic from my network. If you have NACLs, we have to all allow traffic from both sides.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Mhm. So as you can see now, I am actually IP address in part. You see, this one is different. This is 172. Let me go back. So you see, this is the other one as well. All right. So these are two different networks that are now sharing the same EC2 instance, or I mean, they are able to communicate with each other. A to connect to A to connect to A. Okay. So this the same thing is yeah to them again or cloud question and that's it's just the same thing. But as you said, the explanation was kind of different. So I mean the scenario was kind of different. So this I mean basically what um peering connections is about. And yeah, it happens, right? Another one, that one I would just have to. It happens, especially when you go to the big companies, something like Netflix. Netflix has data centers around, let's say, the world. Yeah. What it means is that, but all these applications need to communicate with each other. So you have to set up a connection between all those networks, all right, for it to look like as if they are in the same network or they are one network to communicate with each other. And that these are the things that they do. Netflix has its entire infrastructure on AWS.
All of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm. Netflix is one of the biggest client of AWS. So all their stuff are in AWS. Then there is another way of connection. So I think yeah, okay, maybe I've not mentioned it, but let me mention let's do this one. So with peering connection, right? We see that the connection is not is it transient? Yeah, it's not transient. This means that if I have this one here, I have this one here, I have this one here, I have this one here. Okay. If I set up a peering connection between this and this, okay, and I do this and this, I connect this and this, and I connect this and this one. It doesn't mean that this one can communicate with this. It doesn't also mean that this one can communicate with this. If I want this one, okay, so A, B, C, D. Okay, so if I want C to communicate with B, then I have to set up another peering connection between C and B. If I want A to communicate with D, then I have to set up another peering connection between A and D. So that is
So
what we
all
do.
all the components. So if you want a pairing connection, you have to set it up. So you
Yes.
don't assume that since B is at the center of A and C, it means that though I'm connecting A to B, C to
Mhm.
B, that automatically means that A is connected to C.
It doesn't happen that way. So the fact that this one is connected to this one is connected to this, it doesn't mean that this one is connected to this.
Okay.
They are not transitive. So if you want, and then here, the more your network infrastructure, the more complicated it becomes. Imagine setting up a peering connection between 4 networks. That's a lot of work. You have to do route table configurations, right? So another service or resource came to solve the whole issue, and it is called a transit gateway. If you hear the name, you get to understand. Okay, so transit gateway enabled what transitive connection. So this time you don't do the connections between the VPCs, but the connection is what made to what the transit gateway. Now this one now handles the connections. So this can communicate with this one can communicate with this one can like that, and then it can also communicate across. That's what transit gateway came to solve.
Okay. Okay.
So if you have more networks, it is better to use a transit gateway. If you want to do peering connections, then that's a lot of work. Unless you have specific needs. Even with a transit gateway, you are still able to even limit which VPC can communicate with what, with which VPC.
Okay.
Mhm.
And can you go as far as stating the risk, even the resources, which
Mhm.
ones like that? Like, can you give? You can go as far as the permissions of the IAM, which one they can have access to, and who can have. Can you can go as far as doing all of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the only thing with the network connection is that the fact that this can access this, okay, it doesn't mean that a user here can do changes in this account. No, do you get it? So it means that even though we have a peering connection, you cannot come to my account and come and delete my security group or change my security group settings or anything of that sort. If it has to do with any settings, I still have to do it myself.
So does it become like a read-only thing?
Yeah, more or less like. So you are just using my resource, but you can't modify them.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. I get it. I get it.
Mhm. Okay. So that will wrap up network
Yeah.
and security. Yeah. So
Yeah.
in our next session, we are going to look at this. Okay, we'll do IAM. Yeah,
I,
creating users, creating groups, permissions, looking at policies, and then those things. I think that one we can do it in a session. So, and then we'll go to volumes, EBS, EFS.
yeah, that I don't really serious. I don't really understand the differences. One
Yeah,
is block, one is file. But I seriously don't get the difference.
yeah. We'll do it again.
Currently, I'm trying to. I said some of this so that if there's something I need to do along the way to kind of
Yeah,
guide me.
yeah.
Um, I finished the database on the what do you call it, the educate part.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing the database on the cloud part. So
Okay.
that I'm doing it alongside just to see more like I read here, do practical, then go and do another practical and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But the database on the cloud part, there's this. I don't think it was not done in the educate part. It was is it? NOSQ
No,
something.
NoSQL.
Yes, I think that's a SQ
Yeah.
something. It's
Yes.
different from the RDS.
Yes. So there is SQL and then NoSQL.
So that is why I'm that one that I'm doing it. But trust me, I seriously don't understand what I'm doing.
Okay, we'll talk about databases as well.
Do I
Normally,
have to do all of those the badges related to like do all of them?
no, you only have to know the database services in AWS. That's all. But if you are not fed, you will not further your career as maybe a data engineer or a database administrator. There's no need to actually like do deeper stuff into it. So most of the things, the other Friday I was telling my people that most of these things that we are learning, you don't need them. All right, unless you want to specialize in a field. So, for example, you need to be concerned about the database stuff and then all the thing that has to do with data. If you want to have a career in like cloud data engineering or database administration, you get it. For networking like this, it's the same thing. If you want to do a network specialty, then you have to actually go deeper, learn networking components, networking stuff. But for a usual cloud engineer, what you need is like understand, okay, what a VPC is, what a subnet is, what a route table is, how you do basic configurations, and then that is all.
And you're fine.
Mhm.
When the entry level is that, please, I know that this officially the content you are supposed to do, you are done, right? For today.
No. Yeah, for today, yeah. Yeah.
For today. Okay. So
Mhm.
I just want to ask some questions
No,
relating to
go
the.
go ahead and ask.
I don't know if you want to record it or that's what I want to find out.
Okay. Okay, then let me just stop the recording.